Yeah. How did you hear about the men's shed?
Probably on Facebook or on a WhatsApp group.
What made you want to join the men's shed in the first place?
Interesting one. Two prongs to that. Yes, I like mucking about with things and access to really good power tools and carpentry and all that. I've always liked all that. I've got two sheds at home. One's a garden shed, the other's nominally a workshop, but it's full of junk. So suddenly I've got somewhere I can lay stuff out and work on it. Number two, I'm also a district councillor and a town councillor. If you go to public meetings to find out what people want, you always get the same people turning up. It's the same faces. Come to something like a men's shed or join the environmental group or any of the voluntary groups, you get a proper cross-section of opinion about what people want, what their needs are. And if you seek to represent people, you should really put yourselves about with the people, because you're there to do what they want.
Do you have a specific role in the men's shed?
I'm a trustee of the men's shed, but I haven't got a practical role because I'm not able to commit to being here this particular day, this particular hour.
Yeah. Sort of. How about just today? You know the event, how did you find it?
Oh, brilliant. I mean, I expected a big crowd because we had an opening in our old premises right back when we first introduced the Bexhill main shed. And a lot of people turned up out of interest there. So we knew there'd be a lot of people turning up out of interest. And we wouldn't necessarily, if 50 people turn up, we maybe gain 8 or 9 new members. So with that ratio, we thought maybe 100 here and a few more members.
Yeah. So do you think this was effective in getting new members, this grand opening that you've done?
Certainly, I think those who are curious about men's shed, if there's a reason to come in, they know they can just come in anyway, and we do get people just walk in and say we've heard about it. But those who are maybe a bit more nervous about it or want a bit more first, an event like this is a good excuse to come in, talk to one of the members, and we had a gentleman approach me, and a bloke approached me, and he was saying, well, how does it all work? And I'd be a bit nervous coming down and all that. And between us, we convinced him, no, just drop in. We just sit and natter.
Yeah.
You don't have to do woodwork. A big event, funnily enough, is you've got the big table and we all sit down at lunchtime and natter.
Yeah.
And for lots of people, that is the best sort of social contact they'll have during that week.
Yeah.
And not necessarily based around making woodwork projects.
Yeah. So is that what keeps you coming back, the people here and the...
Yes, the whole concept of having a free-flowing, drop in, drop out. So my interest has always been making things, and it's a lot easier to make things here than it would at home, because obviously I've not always got the time. The other thing is, if you think of people in flats, anyone who's downsized into a flat and is used to having a workshop or a garage in which they could make stuff, this is perfect for them. So yeah, I just keep coming back.
Time.
I was unaware of the men's shed organisation.
Oh yeah.
Before, but I'd heard of the men's shed concept.
Yeah.
Before I moved down here, but I've been down here for a while before Derek started the Bexhill men's shed, and that's what really got me going. I probably wouldn't have sought out a men's shed somewhere else.
Yeah.
But when I heard Bexhill men's shed, looked on Facebook, and there it was, and I thought, too good to miss.
So you say you heard about men's shed from Facebook, correct?
Yeah.
Did you hear about it before that at all, or was it just on you were scrolling on Facebook or?
I was aware of the concept of a men's shed, but as far as it being a national organisation, as far as it having lots of branches throughout the country, didn't know about that. And in fact, probably I did it in reverse order. Found out about the Bexhill men's shed, then in talking to Derek, the guy who founded it, I was then made more aware of the national dimension and the men's shed organisation in general.
Considering you work in council, how many people have you recommended to men's shed, and would you recommend it often as a solution to some problems?
Men's shed is a solution to a heck of a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Most of which are not political.
Yeah.
Or not financial. And a council is essentially, I say political with a small p, because we're ruled by the Rother Alliance, which is a group of different political parties that have come together in an alliance because we don't think there's any room for party politics in a small council.
Yeah.
And in the same way, where men's shed is relevant, that's relevant right across the board. As I say, mental health, loneliness, dexterity, people who are wanting to get their dexterity back after a stroke, people who've been used to working with tools, people who've been used to working in say a wood turning environment and retire. How do they keep their skills going? So full and active retirement, mental health, social. We do also find, and I hope you won't mind me mentioning, Derek, our founder, said when he came to Bexhill, he didn't know very many people at all.
Yeah.
Then he decided to start a men's shed, and now he's got friends all over Bexhill. So that applies to all of us, I'm sure. We've all met people we wouldn't have met via other channels, even though as a councillor, obviously I meet people. But there's a flow the other way. Councillors say, "Oh, you're to the men's shed. What's it like?" I said, "Come down and have a look." So it's not all one-way traffic.
Yeah. Used to mainly only be for men of an older age. I know it has opened up a lot more, and there's a lot more gateways and things for anyone who would like to join. Would you recommend it to people of a younger age, or how would you feel about that?
I think anything intergenerational is good.
Yeah.
The more exchange you have. There's the stereotype of, the young people nowadays, they wouldn't turn up, wouldn't know what to do with the tools, wouldn't do what they're told. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
And you find, therefore, again, if younger people come, not because they're told to or it's part of the curriculum, but someone says, "Why don't I come down and have a look?" Bingo.
Yeah.
It might be their thing, it might not. Personally, I don't think I'd have been all that interested in the men's shed when I was, say, under 40.
Yeah.
And equally, I wouldn't have time.
Yeah.
If you've got kids, you don't need another problem. So, but intergenerational certainly.
Yeah.
As a confidence builder, I think, and we haven't really explored this in detail, and I don't know whether it has happened, but if you get a young person who's just out of phase with their group at school, you can get bullied or just isolated or whatever, and it's one of those things some kids can't do anything about, other than change schools.
Yeah.
They're sitting there saying, I know something's gone wrong, I don't know what it is, how do I, I'm not part of the cool group, I'm always stuck in a corner, what do I do? Down here, they can interact with older people who've been there, done that, and it may do something for their confidence. Or just people say, school's like that for me, it gets better.
Yeah.
There are phases through life, we've been through more than most, so it doesn't mean we've forgotten what it was like.
Yeah.
To be that age or have more interest in clubs, music and dating than maybe cutting the grass and paying the mortgage.
No, of course.
So it's all there, and I hope any youngster who came down without any sort of isolation problems would be made very welcome down. So, general question, intergenerational, answer, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think the people in the Bexhill men's shed would be open to that, having people come in that have problems, asking them? Do you think everyone would be receptive to give them any response?
No one would be against it.
Yeah.
Some people would think they had something to offer.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't. Not everybody sees themselves as an advisor.
Yeah.
But you don't only get advice by asking.
No, of course.
You can get it by example. If someone who looks like your granddad's sitting at a bench making a bird table or something, you think, just doing stuff.
Yeah.
So there's examples as well as actual verbal interchange of ideas.
Brilliant.